The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
And a good Monday morning to you, one and all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastics. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, sitting here in the Freedom Throne behind the Freedom Mic on this Monday, August number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017. Just about halfway done with the month of August already. Wait, didn't August just start? I'm serious here. We lost 2 weeks somehow. Any case, here it is, August number 14. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. If you were paying attention over the weekend, which I was trying not to, but it just doesn't seem like I can't get away from this stuff. But no matter where, you could call it frustrate. It isn't quite fatigue yet, but it is frustration. I don't understand. How easy is it to manipulate the people of this country? I'm serious, folks. It's so easy. Now, you might say, well, Rod, it's not that easy because a lot of people aren't buying it. And I'm thinking, well, if they're not buying it, they're not showing that they're not buying it. We had this protest or marching in Charlottesville, Virginia over the weekend. And we've had some injuries. We've had some deaths. We've had now I saw something somewhere over the week, and I didn't copy it down, but they were evidently a police helicopter crashed, and 2 police officers were killed in the crash. And there was an article somewhere blaming Trump for this. I'm thinking, how do you blame the president for a local police helicopter crash? Did he shoot it? Did he have the military shoot the copter down? Yeah, no, I don't think so. So, I mean, to go off the deep end and blame the president because a local police department's helicopter crashed, killing 2, I don't know. Did somebody throw a rock at the chopper? I don't know. But I just sort of stopped paying attention when you have a bunch of leftists blaming Donald Trump for their copter crash. Now, but remember what I've said, folks. When you got the left that point at you and blame you for stuff, frankly, history has proven that they've got three fingers pointing back at them, and they're pointing at you simply because they're hiding the fact of what they did. So if they're blaming Donald Trump for the downing of this police copter in Virginia, you got to wonder, did somebody in the left do something to this chopper? I'm dead serious. I mean, I hate to be this kind of cynical, but folks, let's just look at the recent history of the people on the left. And I've heard rumors that the person who plowed into people with his car had an Antifa bumper sticker on his car. Well, that's not pro-Trump if they're Antifa. I'm just saying. I don't know if this is true or not. And as a matter of fact, I was so disgusted by both sides of this whole matter down there in Virginia that I stopped paying attention to it. And you're probably thinking, well, that's not the way to handle it. Yeah, it is. Because these people, especially on the left, now these neo-Nazis, understand most of them are not alt-righters. They're again, the left pointing the finger saying they're all right. They've been leftists all their life. How many times have I got to bring up the whole notion of what fascism really is? It's not a right-leaning thing. It's right next to, it's in between socialism and communism. So that means it's a leftist thing. And they're out there blaming the right for being fascist, and we know who the fascists are. It isn't those on the right. Come on, folks. And yet so many people are buying this BS. I'm not falling for it. Let's see. We got an early call here this morning. Looks like it's Dom. Good morning, Dom. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Rod. Good morning to you. And actually, regarding the rally, the Unite the Right rally, I haven't really tweeted about it. I've waited until Monday because, honestly, and if I can suck up a little bit, I knew you were going to be the guy to talk about it, honestly. And that's the one I wanted. I waited. I want to talk to Rod about this because the common knee-jerk reaction, if you get on social media, oh, well, I'm disavowing. I'm not a part of that. I get it. The left is going to try and say anything, everyone, this is their birthday cake right now. You have to walk very softly or they're going to accuse you of supporting this rally. And guys like Hannity, Rush, all of them, they're going to tiptoe around. In fact, the only way they're going to discuss this is, well, I absolutely am against this. And we're all against it. But there's still talking points that need to be had. And there need to be people who are not afraid to talk about these points. And you're one of them. I'm one of them. First of all, we've had 8 years of a president who has been gearing up for a race war in this country. He's been fanning the flames. For 30 years, the mainstream media has been calling for a race war in this country. And now they're pretending they're shocked that people are saying, well, okay, let's have one then. I mean,
everybody's acting stupidly. That's why. I mean,
yeah.
All
who
kidding
encouraged
aside,
that stupidity?
Well, I got reports here that are saying that the police were standing down. What are they supposed to do? I mean, that if you put these two factions together, there's going to be fireworks. If you allow these two factions to come together. Now, first of all, you have to understand, I don't support any type of racism, no neo-Nazi skinheads, whatever they want to call themselves. They're a bunch of racist KKK members, but in this country they have a right to congregate with one another and to express their opinions if they want to in a legal manner. And to have a rally in support of whatever they believe in is constitutionally okay, and I will defend their constitutional right to do so. What I disagree with is their stance on race relations, and I vehemently disagree with the left, who always thinks that they should march in, counter-protest, and create a bunch of violence, and then want to shut somebody else down because they don't agree with whatever these other people are saying. That's a bunch of BS. That's fascism. And I will not stand for that. That's worse. I'm sorry, folks, but fascism is worse than racism. Because you can deal with racism, but if somebody wants you to shut up and not express your opinion, that's something that's a lot more difficult to deal with. Because usually you have the government behind it, and if the government's behind shutting you up, you don't have a voice anymore.
The march in Skokie Park, the ACLU said telling them not to march is far more dangerous than anything they're going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think was it Dershowitz who defended them in court?
I do believe he did, yes.
Yeah. Here's my thing, and another take on it. They're like, oh, well, we didn't want violence, and we didn't want any of this. Never, they always send out a beleaguered police force. It's like, we're going to send in 150 police officers, really, because there's 70,000 people there fighting. You want to deal with this, call in the National Guard. Make a statement. Call out the National Guard, put them between each other, and then you watch. There won't be any fights, because no one's going to be out there picking fights with the National Guard. No one.
I don't know it. These kind of places where they go, where they go for these types of rallies, they often go to places that are going to be beleaguered. The police and first responder staff is extremely underprepared, undertrained, and ill-prepared to deal with such a thing. And they don't call in for any help. And then they get overwhelmed, and then we end up with stuff like this. This happens every time. Look, it's not by accident that they pick these types of places. I mean, you go to Baltimore. Well, Baltimore in Maryland was a flashpoint. It was that was a city that was about to explode. So you pick it on purpose. You go to this little podunk town of Charlottesville, Virginia. Why would you go there for a rally? Unless you wanted to overpower and overpopulate the local populace, who might not be for either side on this particular case. But there's no way, unless they do call in the National Guard, there's no way for them the locals to handle this. This is why you choose stuff like this, choose places like this. And far too many Americans, the first thing that they see is the news feature on the tube, on MS or even Fox. Oh, somebody just ran over a bunch of people with their vehicle at this rally. And then all of a sudden, now we've got two factions. We've got a race war going on. It never should have happened because, one, it never should have been in that town. Two, if it was in that town, yes, you are absolutely right. They should have called in the National Guard to make sure that the peace was, because they knew that this was going to happen. If you're telling me that you're a public safety official in Charlottesville and you didn't think this was going to happen, you need to be brought up on some sort of incompetence charges. I mean, honestly.
That's a great idea. I would love to see those people go before a panel and explain why did you tell the police this? Well, we were overmanned. We had to pull back. Okay, well then why didn't you call in for backup? Why didn't you call in for state police? Why didn't you call in for the National Guard? I would love to see these people before a panel explaining their and the same goes in Berkeley. Why did you let that brawl carry on? In fact, they did it. I think there was 3 battles of Berkeley. Not once did the police step in. They just, you don't like it, call the chief. But there's one more thing. And look, I don't want to get bogged down into the quagmire of disembowering the alt-right. It goes without saying. I'm not an alt-righter. You're not an alt-righter. I don't want that to be the talking point, because that's what the MSM is pushing. Either you shut up and just disavow the alt-right, or you support the alt-right. Well, that's not true. I don't want them dictating the talking points. But the fact of the matter is that the MSM has been pushing. You either side with this or that. Most of us don't care. Most of us are just people walking around, going to work every day. Hey, I'd like a tax cut, or hey, this is what's important to me. We have a system that is literally pushing us to one side or the other. And once you've only got 2 sides, you're going to have a fight. That's just how it is. That's how it works. So it's easy to say, well, this is the alt-right pushing for a fight. No, this is the powers that be pushing for a fight. And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about the people who control social, what is the word I'm looking, perception maybe? I'm talking about the media. The media is pushing for this fight. And I've said it before. Who profits from a divided country? Not me. I don't. Who profits from racial tension? I don't. I make zero money off of a divided country with racial tension. Who does? The media, the people who report on it, the critics, and the profits that come with this. They are the ones pushing for this because they are the ones who will profit from this. You were the one who explained to me how Soros likes to deal in money. Well, if a broken America, our currency is going to drop, right?
Yes. So, this is, you're absolutely right. You got to, I always say, follow the money. There's your answer. People ask the question, well, how is this possible, or why are they doing this? Follow the money. That's going to be your answer for just about anything evil in this world. Follow the money. Because there are people that are behind this kind of thing. And look, there are puppet masters. I know it sounds like conspiracy theorist type of thing, but there are puppet masters with all of this stuff. Because these people do not do anything unless there was another protest out there where they were trying to get people to come out, and nobody was coming out to join this leftist nut job, and he was trying to figure out why nobody wanted to come out. Well, the answer pretty much is that for all of these protests that we've had from the leftists over the past few years, a good number of them were paid to be there. So if you don't pay anybody, they're not going to show up. I don't know how difficult that is to understand. You're going to have to pay, your protesters, they want to get paid for protesting. They're professional protesters. So follow the money. Obviously, if Soros and all his buddies are paying people to be at certain places at certain times, it means they're going to make the money back plus somewhere else. So follow the money.
They're not donating this money. Yeah, they're not. It's not donation. They're not just handing out money. I mean, Soros is a profit-making entity. He's not bussing in people via charity. What's in it for him? And I'll let you explain it. You've explained it to me over the phone before quite eloquently. But one more thing before I let you go. Remember, this has been done before. They tried to blame Trump for Chicago. It failed. They're going to try and blame Trump for Charlottesville. Steadfast. Stick to your guns. We know who we are. We know what we are. Do not let those that hate us dictate who we are.
Yeah, remember now that story, the chopper, the police chopper going down. Somehow that's Donald Trump's fault. I'm trying to put two and two together to try to figure out how that could possibly be. But other than hey,
it doesn't. They don't need to. They don't need to put two and two together. They just need to say it, and people will buy into it. I remember arguing with my dad once and him saying, well, they wouldn't put it on TV if it wasn't true. I'm like, well, I watched The Terminator on TV. That's not true.
It's on the internet. It has to be real.
Yeah. So, all right, Rod, I will let you get back to your show. You have a good day, my brother.
Thank you for the call. Hey, I thought The Terminator was a historical document. Oh, no, wait a minute. Wasn't that Tim Allen movie where he was in outer space and the aliens thought that all the TV shows of that Tim Allen, Star Trek type of spoof was historical documents? So, yes, everything on the internet is an historical document. Yes, that's it. That's it.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement. in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shave brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Three 835-3226. I also got this story here. We'll get into this after the bottom of the hour break with GoDaddy, and I understand why people get upset about what other people's. Words have some power. Words have a lot of power. Words can motivate people to do all kinds of things, including go to war. Words are other than pictures. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, it's worth the words. You understand the visual. So after a picture, what do you have? You have words. Why do you think radio is so popular? Because it's filled with, you can't see anything. It's all it is words. So words are very powerful. They can be very moving. And I understand why some people get upset with some people's words. Because they can motivate people to do good. They can motivate people to do evil. But at no time is it a good thing to try to keep somebody from spewing some words simply because you don't like those words. Now, I may not agree with somebody. You know what? If you don't agree with me, tell me why. And then let's have a discussion of words about why your ideas might be better than mine. And I'll discuss with you why I believe my ideas might be better than yours. And in the meantime, we might come to terms and say, hey, why don't we combine some of these ideas and come up with some better ones? That's how things get better. You don't make things better by shutting somebody up and keeping them from expressing or saying the words that they want to say. That's fascism, folks, and that's on the left, not the right.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Welcome back, 603-835-3226. That is the call-in number this morning, should you wish to utilize that. Now, this whole thing about trying to shut people up, this is really getting out of hand on the internet. Now, what is the internet all about? The internet is everybody talks about the internet, it being of a place where people, a free flow of ideas. That's the whole basis of it. We got to make sure that the internet stays neutral. You know, this whole net neutrality crap, and we got to keep governments out of it. It's not fair if governments get to control the internet within their countries because it stymies the free flow of ideas. And we have these people that talk about the free flow of ideas, and yet they want to stymie the free flow of ideas with what they call hate speech. They want to label it hate speech. Personally, people, what I talk about here on this program can be construed by some people as being hate speech. In fact, it has been. I've had people say, well, you're just a hate monger, Rod. Me, a hate monger. Well, I mean, because I believe right and wrong is black and white. I don't think there's any gray area. Oh, Rod, that's hate speech, man. Everything is gray. Nothing's black and white. What's the matter with you? Well, I don't happen to agree with that. Well, because I don't agree with that, then I'm fomenting hate speech. And I bring it up because evidently there is a website that was hosted on GoDaddy. And it's a neo-Nazi site. So they're saying it's a neo-Nazi site. I've never been to it, but it's called Daily Stormer. And I evidently now, according to the Washington Post, now understand who the Washington Post is. The Washington Post is owned by whom? None other than Amazon's Jeff Bezos. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to fight certain people. It's not impossible. But you got to understand that what we have now is we have some very wealthy people that are activists. And they're able to get a hold of certain things. But understand, the Washington Post, in this day and age, this is not the same. It's not the same today as it was, say, 20 or 30 years ago. And this is where a lot of people give way too much credit to Jeff Bezos in garnering and buying up the Washington Post. Why? How many people really pay attention to the New York Times? Sure, there's still a lot of people who pay attention to the New York Times. But do they have the influence that they had 20 or 30 years ago? No. And neither does the Washington Post. But the Washington Post has a story that GoDaddy bans neo-Nazi site Daily Stormer for disparaging the woman who was killed at the Charlottesville rally over the weekend. And they gave the owners of said platform 24 hours to move the domain to another provider as they have violated our terms of service. Really? What terms of service is that? that you think that they're hate speech? What exactly is hate speech? I mean, you would think threatening somebody on the right with physical harm, you would think that that would be construed as hate speech. Oh, no, that's fine. Because those on the right, they're hateful. Well, those of us on the right, we're also Christians. Oh, you Christians spew hate speech because you don't like gays. Well, we're not the only one. If you want to say that we don't like gays, which is a bunch of BS, but okay, let's just go with your words here for a second. We're not the only ones. As a matter of fact, most Christians don't call for the death of homosexuals, but the one religious group that you think is so wonderful does call for the death of homosexuals. It's called Islam, but they're not hate speech. So who gets to decide what is and what isn't hate speech? Do you understand the darkness that comes in when you're one of those people that gets to decide what is and what isn't? And as far as GoDaddy, I have I own some domains and I use GoDaddy's domain service to buy them and to register them. And I got to tell you, I'm done with it. As these domains come up for renewal, I'm going to use a different domain registrar because GoDaddy has been driving me insane these past 2 years with all their BS. It's unfathomable. But it isn't. I'm not calling for a boycott because boycotts don't work. I mean, they just don't. I mean, I think the Southern was it the Southern Baptist congregation has had a boycott against Disney for the past 20 years. Has that slowed Disney down at all? No. Boycotts don't work, folks. I'm sorry, but they don't. I'm not into. I'm not saying that go ahead and vote with your dollars by going to places that you disagree with. Not at all. I mean, by all means, take your money someplace else. But as far as an organized boycott is concerned, they never seem to work. They just don't. So, but if you just go ahead and quietly move your money to other places, to other services, to other retail, whatever, that tends to work a lot. One of the things God said, you pray in private, not in public, because the prayer in private between you and God is more effective than the prayer in public. Is it not? So if all of us quietly just move our money someplace else, start buying from someplace else, those companies, they get the hint. Because why? Because they're in business to do what? Make money. They like money. And when they think that they've got people on their side because everybody still utilizes their service, or when somebody calls attention to them by saying, let's have a massive boycott, well, boycotts always seem to do the opposite effect. They really do. But if you just quietly move your money away from it, then companies get it. And then they make changes. And this is the only thing that's going to happen with GoDaddy. Forget the boycotts. The boycott is not going to work. It's just not. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to boycott? Try getting people to boycott Facebook. See how well that works for you. It doesn't usually work out because everybody makes an excuse of why they can't not use Facebook. Like, well, okay, you can. And we've already made it clear that somehow liberal organizations don't actually need to overtly make money. CNN, anybody? If this were a real model out of the 80s, a business model out of the 80s, CNN would have been gone long ago. But evidently, they don't need to make a ton of profit in order to stay in business. I don't get it either. There's nobody watches CNN, so who the hell is advertising on CNN? But they're able to stay afloat. But are you going to really try to dictate what CNN reports overtly? That's not going to work. Any more than those at CNN are trying to dictate what the rest of us hear and see everywhere else, either on or off the web. Doesn't work. Let's Let's get to the phones here. We've got 731. You're on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got this morning?
Hey, well,
Good
I want
morning,
to say
darling.
a few things. Listen, our God-given natural rights are to have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That was given to us by the Constitution. And, forget the Bill of Rights. That is our fundamental rights, to be able to walk up and down the street free of our government without harassment, whether or not they like what you say or not say or whatever, okay? That first and foremost. And I think about, you look at Diamond and Silk, but their YouTube channel being, demonetized, Jeffrey Lord being removed from CNN, Eric Bolling. I'm just going to go there. But, this is for people to think about, because it could be happening to your team. This is just a very slippery slope. But if you have ever heard of Agent Provocateur, and I had to look this up in Wikipedia, and what that means in the United States, the COINTELPRO program of the FBI, including the Federal Bureau of Investigation, including FBI agents posing as political activists to disrupt the activities of political groups in the United States, such as the Ku Klux Klan. Agent, the provocateurs go back as far as the 1970s, like in the anti-war rallies that were taken on, like some of the biggest rallies ever in Washington, D.C. And now I'm going to get to this. Antifa, they were throwing bottles full of concrete at cars and people. The Black Lives Matter, they weren't obeying the laws. And let's think back about the Ku Klux Klan for a minute, okay? I looked this up, they have a present membership of less than 3,000 over the entire United States. That is 0.0000001% of all the U.S. population, okay? There are less than 75 members in the state of Virginia. Remember this, okay? They're little more than, I believe, something that the globalists use to influence people. Okay, that's just my opinion. That wasn't anything. The KKK, for your listeners, they were started by the Democrats in the year of 1866. And the KKK, they were communists and Democrats. Segregation was a thing that was a Democrat, that was used by the Democrat Party exclusively. And slave owners were Democrats and Democrats only. Robert H. Lee was a Democrat, okay? And I'm going somewhere with this. You have Charlottesville, right near Thomas Jefferson's home, right smack in the middle of nowhere. 3 hours from D.C., 3 hours from Richmond. Now, if you wanted to have a big rally of some sort and you wanted to get news media in there, you would think you'd have it in a big city, right? But if you wanted to kind of have a fake cooked-up protest that you go to a town just like Charlottesville where you can control all the information coming in and going out. You don't have to be a Klansman to wear a sheet and a hood. I'm sure you saw Blazing Saddles. I know you did. You watch every movie. So my summary in this is this is not about a statue. This was not about a president that's supposedly racist. This was not about white nationalists. This was about destabilization brought to the streets by George Soros, the deep state, and must I add, the mainstream media. And if you don't believe me, look up Dave Emory and watch the audio with David Duke on the audio. Then you'll know what I'm talking about. You had the driver of this car, the mother came out, reported this. They're so stupid, they don't even know what they shouldn't report. The mother reported that he had a black friend. Well, supremacists, they don't have black friends. He was in the military for 4 months. Why only 4 months? Sounds like to me he was probably recruited for something. And why ram your car into a bunch of people with all the cops around? You know, I'm just saying. Both parties are funded by one. David Duke, you guys, he's set up. He's been an agent since the 70s and the 80s, and I'd be willing to bet that politicians are responsible for all of these. And I heard you talk about this one day last week, that they're responsible for all these removals of these Confederate statues, and I bet they're Democrats. This was planned provocation, clearly for an attack on the Constitution. And Trump called it correctly. Both sides are wrong. And happy birthday, George Soros, on August the 12th, because you sure, had a big party. The protest of removal of General Lee was planned for months, giving the Nationalist Party plenty of time to save the money for their permit to rally. And the park, it was interesting where they chose. So then they also turn around and give approval for Antifa and Black Lives Matter permits surrounding the park. The city police are told to stand down, and concealing the event was planned. I think that Andrew McCabe's buddy and his little governor of Virginia should have some questions answered. That's just my opinion. And what I'm getting at, guys, who lets anybody in a frickin' protest with tiki torches? I was not allowed to carry my American flag into the inauguration. And this is, and you all listen very carefully, this is global government in an attempt to bring down our Western culture and our democracy. How much more difficult is it for them to understand? And it's just like you said, Rod, history can't be changed. Those monuments are put there as a reminder of how far we've come, not to remind us that we want to go back there. Do you agree?
I do agree. But I do understand why some of these monuments, the oldest of the monuments, I understand why they were erected and who they erected, who they were erected by, and the whole reason behind it. And it was nefarious. I get that. I understand that. Some of these monuments were put up in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And they were put up by a bunch of Democrats and the like, and there was a reason for it, and they were nefarious reasons. I get it. But the reason why you're taking them down today has nothing to do with the fact, because if they were really that bad, if the whole premise behind them was really that bad, then they should have been taken down long ago. I understand you might, because of the time frame that they got put up. But if they were really that bad, they would have been taken down right around the time of the civil rights passage in the 60s and early 70s. People would have said, look, this is a reminder of the Old South. We're not the Old South anymore. Let's get rid of these. The point is now it's now a part of our history. And the reason why they're taking them down now has nothing to do with the fact that for the reason that they were initially put up 100 years ago or 150 years ago.
Might I add this one thing before I forget, because I'm old. The snowflakes, the people running around with the mask and the black clothing and so forth, hell, they're not old enough to even know what leave was. You think that they go around, they don't learn history in school. They have no earthly idea. They only know what they're being told. I had to look up the history. They don't even know that. Go on.
No, they don't. And the reason why they're taking them down is because they want to whitewash history. And now think about this, folks. Think about this. The people who are calling for the destruction of these monuments are the same group of people. It's a different generation, but it's still the same group of people, Democrats, that erected them in the first place. So what have I always told you about Democrats? They're going to point the finger at everybody else on this, saying you're racist for allowing these things up. Well, you know what? You're part of the group of people that put them up and maintained them for over a century, and now you want to take them down because you want to hide the fact that you are really the racists in this country. I got to run, darling. It's always great to hear from you. And thank you so much.
Oh yes, and add Denise. Well, how do you say Denise's book? It's a Lie. Everybody should read that because I read some of that yesterday. Okay, and I'll talk to you soon. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much for tuning in and listening. We'll be back, folks.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face and sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
I got an interesting question here. It looks like it came via the website, rodeccles.net. If you go to the bottom of that page, you'll see where you can enter a question. Or they sent it to the Rod Eccles Show at gmail.com. But we'll get into this question as soon as we get back.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of french fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
Welcome back. Yes, indeed. It is I, the master of disaster. Well, verbal disaster here. I am, of course, the wonderful L. Rod, your lovable host here this morning, this Monday morning, hour number 2 here. On August number 14, the year of our Lord 2017, 603-835-3226 is the number to call. Should you wish to join in on the conversation this morning and to add your 3 cents. Well, it used to be, 2 cents, but because of inflation, it's 3 cents. Because 2 cents isn't worth anything anymore. But 3 cents might be worth something. Yeah, 3 cents is worth a penny. Yeah, just saying. One of the things I've noticed, I'm probably going to date myself here, but I remember going to Burger King. Everybody knows Burger King. I remember going to Burger King and being able to get a regular size Whopper meal for $3. You can't even get a Whopper Junior meal for $3 today. I think a Whopper Junior is, $3 all by itself. But I remember the full-size burger, Whopper, with, medium fries and a medium Coke was $3. It was a little bit more than three. It was a little bit more than $3 because, tax. I think it was like $3. I could go to pull into Burger King with $3 and like a nickel and a penny because I think it was $3.06 with tax back in the day. And that's what it cost. And I remember going through drive-through one day, and I'm saying, yeah, that'll be $3.10, $3.10, please. And I'm like, $3.10? How is that possible? And I thought that's not possible because why am I hearing stuff? Oh, someplace else. Anyway, but it was $3.10, and I remember thinking, well, geez, boy, inflation's really taking hold now. Prices are going up. And that you can't say that today. What's a Whopper cost? I don't know. It's like $6 or $7 now. So that's why 3 cents is worth a penny. People forget about inflation. But if you want to know where inflation is, you want to pay attention to it, go to your fast food joint, because that's one of the places where you'll notice it. Believe it or not, that's one of the places you'll notice it first. And if people start, if you go to your Burger King or Wendy's or McDonald's or any other fast food, and you wonder why you are paying, spending a thin $5 for a particular whatever your food was, and the total cost used to be $5, and now it's $7. Well, it's because you live in places like Seattle, in San Francisco, where they jack the minimum wage price up, minimum wage up to $15 an hour, or it's heading in that direction. And employers, of course, are the fast food joints. Well, they've got to recoup that cost from somewhere, so they're going to charge you more on your food. And I think people in San Francisco have figured this out. This is why they're so pissed. But anyway, everything has, for every action, there is an equal and opposite, or for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's just science. That's proven science. So when you have all of this, this action out there, there's going to be an equal yet opposite reaction. And this is something that the left has failed to understand, even partially. Forget fully, not even partially. So when it comes to removing all of these federal, or excuse me, these Confederate monuments all across the South, there is going to be an equal but opposite reaction to this stuff. And it's going to get to the point where that reaction is, in some cases, it could be violent. And I think a couple of the callers, that they've hit the nail on the head when they've been saying that you have the left, especially the mainstream media, is really responsible for a lot of this violence. They've been promoting it on one side and hiding it on another side, and accusing the wrong side of the violence. So if you want to protect against the whitewashing of, lack of a better word here, whitewashing of history, now all of a sudden you're in your hate speech. You're espousing hate speech because you want to keep the monuments up, or because maybe you want the monuments removed, which is something you don't hear about. Maybe you want them removed, but you want them removed for the right reasons, the correct reasons, the honest and truthful reasons. Maybe you're one of those people like me that say, espouse it. Well, hell, they never should have been put up 100, 150 years ago. And if you're going to take them down, you better take them down for the reason that is real. And what we have here is we have this whole we have all of this acceleration of these people wanting to take this stuff down for the wrong reasons, or I shouldn't say the non-truthful reasons. And one of these is happening in Baltimore. Baltimore, we're going to see this acceleration. Baltimore City Councilman Brandon Scott is formally calling for all 4 of the city's Confederate-era monuments to be torn down. Now, this is from the Baltimore Sun. Now, folks, listen to this next paragraph very closely, because this is why they want to take them down for the wrong reasons. And this is how the left in the mainstream media is fomenting fake hatred on the wrong side. In a resolution being introduced Monday, Councilman Scott, who happens to be black, calls for the immediate destruction of all Confederate monuments in Baltimore. In the resolution, he cites the white nationalist rally in Charlottesville over the weekend that left 3 dead. Now, folks, honestly, this is media malfeasance here, media malpractice. Only one person was left dead because of this rally. Only one person was run over. They're including the 2 police officers whose copter crashed. The copter had nothing to do, it had nothing to do at all with the rally. If there was mechanical difficulties with that police helicopter, it was going to go down whether there was a rally or not. Now, as far as we know so far, nobody on the ground had anything to do with the copter coming down out of the sky and killing 2 police officers. Nothing at all. There obviously had to be some sort of mechanical difficulty. Unless there's evidence that somebody shot the copter out of the sky. Well, I mean, that could have happened, but we haven't been told that yet. So you cannot equate. I mean, that's like saying, well, you know, let me put it in perspective for you. That's like saying that because we have military accidents, aircraft accidents. Well, add those military deaths to those military aircraft accidents, because hey, they're training. They're training to go fight in Afghanistan, so that raises the number of dead in Afghanistan. No, it has nothing to do with Afghanistan. They were still going to do this type of maneuvering, these types of rehearsals, this type of flying around, and therefore there was a mechanical problem with the aircraft anyway, and it was going to come down at some point. The same with this police helicopter. Until I see evidence to the contrary, we all think and have to honestly believe that it was a mechanical malfunction of the aircraft. And if that's the case, then it had nothing to do with the rally. Now, I'm not here to try to protect the participants on either side of this ridiculous rally. But let's be honest and fair in our reporting. There are not 3 dead because of the rally. There's only 1. But this is the type of stuff that foments and gets people riled up. Oh, there's 3 are dead because of the rally. No, yes, it's just as bad that if one person, you shouldn't go to a rally. Whether I don't care what side of a rally, if you're on the left or the right, the middle, doesn't matter. You shouldn't go to a rally and then not go home. You shouldn't go to a protest and not, if the protests should be peaceful, which they should be. You should expect to go home safely. But understand who started the violence. Understand who started the violence that led to the kind of thing. And I don't care if it was somebody from the so-called alt-right that ran into these people or somebody from the alt-left that ran into these people. It's irrelevant. The problem is that the 2 sides never should have been able to come together and touch each other in the first place. And even if they did, this is America, where we celebrate our differences, even if we disagree with the other person's difference. And what you have now is fomented in the mainstream media is that if you don't have the right, quote-unquote, type of attitude or belief, then you deserve to be violently protested. That's not the way this country works. And to foment this kind of stuff is nothing less than if this were the equivalent of medicine and a doctor did something like this, the doctor would be sued. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. During the last hour, a question came through. It came through over the Rod Eccles Show at gmail.com. And the question, but this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to malpractice in the media. The question is, Rod, why do you protect the racist on the right? Have I ever protected any racist? Anywhere? I'm not protecting racists to protect racists. Hey, hell, look, if you want to be a leftist racist, and there are a lot of them out there, in this country, you still have the God-given constitutionally protected right to espouse your belief, no matter what it is. That's what I'm protecting. I'm not protecting your ideas. I'm protecting your right to espouse your ideas, because at some point, all of this anti-Confederate monument stuff is going to bleed over into other areas of our lives. Don't doubt me, folks. If you think that this so-called alt-left is going to stop in the South with just stripping these Confederate monuments, of which the alt-left put up in the first place, you think they're going to stop there? They're not. I mean, before you know it, we're going to start seeing, don't doubt me on this, you're going to start seeing calls for some of the monuments around this entire country that lift up and pay homage to our founders. We've already heard some calls about the founders being racist, bigoted, slave owners, and that. And there is some truth to some of that. Yes, some of our founders owned slaves. But you're going to start hearing calls for, we need to remove this kind of a monument now that has this founder, because this founder was an ultra-racist. Or this founder espoused hate speech. Folks, they've gotten a foothold by removing their own monuments as it pertains to the Civil War. The very monuments that they erected in the first place. Do you think, honestly, they're going to stop there? Remember this date, because I'm telling you, sometime in the near future, they're going to start actually calling for and moving to remove founders, founding father monuments. Hey, they've already succeeded in certain places in removing the Ten Commandments. Do you think the founding fathers are immune?
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement. in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 plus 2 equals Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
I often wonder, now that we've advanced to such a degree, we're able to do all these DNA tests now of people and figure out from whence we all came. And I find it interesting that they're not able yet to actually determine like your home village, but they're able to determine your home region or your home county, if you will. You know, you came from this area of, your ancestors came from this area of Great Britain, this county. You know, maybe from Yorkshire County is where the bulk of your English relatives come from, and that sort of thing. And I find it, I wonder if everybody started doing this and they started realizing where they get, there are going to be a lot of people surprised by the kind of blood that flows through their veins. I wonder how many people are going to be self-loathing. And Frank, I've mentioned this before, but in this country, African Americans are not what we would call pure African. Some of us are. A good number of us are not. And all you have to do is just look at American blacks versus African blacks. Most American blacks do not resemble African blacks. Well, we don't. And that's because we're all mixed up. We've got other stuff in there with us. And it's... Some people are surprised to find out, that it's not that anybody is pure anyway, because we all come from a single point, right? But whether or not you believe in the creation story or not, there's still a single point, a single parentage, if you will. Whether it be Adam and Eve or Lucy and whoever Lucy's husband may have been, there's still a single point of origin. So in some form or another, we're all related. That's why we're all human, because we all, we share so many common things, which makes us part of the human race. So with that being said, how is it that we can be so destructive towards one another simply out of how we look? By the way we look? When, if you, especially in this country, when this is a great melting pot, there are not many purebreds in this country, especially if your family has history here. Now, if you're fresh off the boat, different story. But if you've been here a while, your family's been here, you're probably not a purist, which I find quite interesting. So how is it that these people get away with this kind of stuff? Well, simply because either they ignore or they haven't been taught their history. It's the only explanation. Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
President Trump is being criticized for not explicitly condemning those on the so-called alt-right for this Charlottesville, Virginia rally. Now, folks, you got to understand something. The president can condemn anything that he wants, and even when he does, and he did do that. It's not going to be good enough for the left because he's got to keep doing it. Well, are you going? How many times have we seen, when he was supposed to during the campaign do you explicitly condemn this particular action from this person? And the president would say, President-elect and candidate Trump said, yeah, I've done that before. Well, do you do it now? Do you condemn it now? As if he's got to do it every hour upon the hour of every single day. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before from the media. So the president's problem is that he's explicitly condemned all sides that has been involved in the violent clashes in Charlottesville. Mr. President, you're condemning all sides, but do you condemn the right? He can't win. I mean, when you have the lamestream media that practices such malfeasance to this degree, there is no way that Donald J. Trump could ever do anything to satisfy the left. Nothing. So I don't even know why we even bother with it. I don't know why he bothers. He could, unless he were to get in, to jump on the bully pulpit, that says President of the United States on the podium, and he says, "I am now fully accepting alt-left ideology in politics." Even if he does that, they're still not going to like him. I guarantee they're still not going to like him. He could just say, God came to me in a dream, or the goddess Gaia came to me in a dream. That would probably get their attention if he actually said that. The goddess Gaia came to me in a dream and said that I was wrong about just about everything, and that this is what I had to do. And so I'm here to tell you that I am switching. I am changing. They would still hate on him. Do you folks realize there is nothing that Donald J. Trump can do to get the so-called love of the left? He could fully and totally and completely embrace their ideas and their ideology. They would still, they'd agree with him. They'd still hate him, though. If you don't believe me, look what the right is doing on the GOP. He says a lot of things that the GOP says that they were for, but the GOP is hating on him. I'm afraid he's a man without a party. Well, he's a man without a political party, but he's not a man without support. And the problem is that you have those within the swamp, in all the mini swamps in the various state capitals around the country, who believe that the support has to come from the party because the party is it. In other words, screw the people. Well, I keep telling you, you got to help the president. We have got to help him drain the swamp, because the swamp is not just in D.C. I mean, the swamp is in state capitals from Little Rock to Sacramento to Albany. That's where there are many swamps. I mean, just look at your state capital, wherever you are. Look who's running your state. Look who's not just the governor, but your state senators and your state assemblymen or congressmen or whatever you happen to call them within your state. Yeah, look, we got a mini swamp here in New Hampshire. It's no different. And it's all got a direct pipeline and feeds into Washington, D.C. Which is why I keep saying all politics is local. If you want to stop the mess down in Washington, you got to stop the mess in your own state. Because that's where it all takes place, folks. It doesn't take place. We make the mistake that it all takes place in Washington. It doesn't take place in Washington. It takes place back in your own community. And there is a direct swamp pipeline that feeds right into Washington from your community. You got to stop it there first. You got to stop it there before you can stop any of this other nonsense that's going on around us. Because all this stuff that's going on around us, where is it happening? Well, it's happening in places like Charlottesville, Virginia. Is that Washington, D.C.? No. It's not. And it's not just happening in state capitals. It's happening is Charlottesville, Virginia, the capital of Virginia? No, it's not. But those connections, or they have connections of straight pipeline from Charlottesville to Washington. Just like every other, if you want to call them podunk towns and small towns and small cities and big cities. Not even, sure, Chicago, I mean, L.A., New York City, they've got big pipelines heading that go directly into D.C. for sure, but the biggest problem isn't these large pipelines, these large communities. It's not Chicago. It's not New York. It's not L.A. It's not San Francisco, Miami. It's small places like Charlottesville. That's where the real stuff happens, because Charlottesville feeds into the capital of Virginia. The capital of Virginia feeds into the capital of the country. You know, what is it? Manhattan, Illinois feeds into Chicago, and Chicago feeds into D.C. Fulton, New York feeds into Albany, and Albany feeds into Washington, D.C. This is why I say it's got to be local. You got to get a hold of your local communities first. And then it's got to work up to the state. And from the state, then it goes national. But you can't, look, we have tried attacking the swamp head on by putting a man in a national position right there in D.C. And he can't do it by himself. He just can't. They won't let him. You got to give him help. You got to give him some help, people. You got to give him, if you want to drain the swamp, you got to give him people who want to drain the swamp with him. Because as we now see, Congress doesn't have to do a damn thing to espouse or to advance the president's agenda. And indeed, we see them actively preventing his agenda from being implemented. And I know you can go ahead and go on to social media all you want to, but understand most major social media outlets are owned by people who are very sympathetic leftists. I mean, they will take anything that you say, and if they don't agree with you, they will label it hate speech. Look at the guy from Google. What did he say at Google to get him fired? Well, he didn't say what they said he said. He said women are not interested in doing certain types of jobs, and they're not. Not that they couldn't. They're just different from men, and they don't have an interest in doing certain, just like, most men are not interested in doing certain types of what we might call traditional female jobs. We're wired differently. Not that we can't do it, we just don't have an interest in doing it. Whatever it may be. I mean, sure, we have a lot of women who are in traditionally male-dominated jobs, but why don't more women do them? Because they're not firemen. Sure, we have female firemen. Yeah, and I don't call them fire persons or fire women or fire people. They're firemen. Even if they're a female, they're firemen. But we don't have a whole hell of a lot of women doing it, not necessarily because they can't physically or mentally do the job, simply because they're not interested in doing that job. So why aren't women interested in doing certain things that this guy called out at Google? They're just not interested in doing it. Not that they can't. It's not that they have no interest in certain kinds of mathematics. Even though some of the smartest people out there in math are female, believe it or not, what's a savant? What's her? I can't remember her first name. The person that supposedly has the highest IQ recorded is a female. But even her, if you ever read any of her, she used to be syndicated. I don't know if she still is. She used to have syndicated articles. And she'd answer questions and things like that had a lot to do or all to do with her high IQ. And even she has said it before. There are certain aspects of knowledge that she's not interested in. But men are. But we can't say that because that's construed as hate speech somehow, for some reason. And you can't have that. Because when you say that a woman women are not traditionally interested in this type of a job, and men are not traditionally interested in this type of job, that's hate speech. Because what they hear is that they can't do it. And that's not what we're saying at all. Anybody remember, I think it was Time Magazine a few years ago that came out with an article that science had proven that men and women were actually born different after all. Now all of a sudden science proves that we're wired differently. Well, we've already known that. And it came as a complete shock to the leftist media that science now proved that there's actual differences between men and women. We're not homogeneous. We're not all the same. And simply because we have different interests based on our physiological differences doesn't mean that we can't do so. Well, physiologically, there are certain things that at least with the current science and technology just can't be done because we are so different. Men, right now, there's no way in hell that a man, a real man, can ever carry a baby. I know we've seen this. Well, this guy, we've seen these articles about, pregnant men. They're not men. They're women. A man cannot carry a baby. But if you were to say that on social media, that'd be hate speech. Right? Well, I mean, look. A street artist's Facebook page was shut down recently, and this is from Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporter of all... Now, if Hollywood Reporter is reporting this means this stuff is getting way out of hand. A street artist's Facebook page is shut down as hate speech after a so-called Zuckerberg stunt. The F-bomb Zuck 2020 posters, a symbol after the the letter F being the middle, Facebook, the thumbs up in the form of a middle finger, were hung in various California cities. The work of a conservative street artist known for skewering the liberal politics of celebrities and corporations has been deemed hate speech by Facebook, which shut his page down over the weekend. The notice comes just days after the artist known as Sabo, S-A-B-O, attacked Facebook founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg with posters disparaging his alleged presidential aspirations. And the middle finger poster were hung in the dead of night last week in various California cities. And so now Facebook is saying, well, that's hate speech. And so they shut his Facebook page. I mean, seriously, folks. Anything that they disagree with, all of a sudden is hate speech. But hey, that's only for the left, though. So if somebody were to put up posters that said, same thing, F word, Trump, 2020, they'd be lauded as being a wonderful social activist. Would they not? Facebook has said your page has been unpublished for using hate speech. Folks, do you see the problem with this stuff? If you do not agree with the leftists, 100%, and if you do not espouse what they believe 100%, they're going to label you a hater spewing hate speech, and thus you should not have the right at all in their eyes to be able to express yourself in any shape, manner, or form. If anybody really, by the way, we've often been, this country's often been called the prison country or prison planet because of how many people we incarcerate in this country. Well, understand this. Who are the ones that constantly make up laws that demonize and criminalize people to such a point where people end up in jail? Oh, yeah, it's the left. And they want to add to that. They want to put half the country in jail right now because half the country doesn't believe what the leftist believes. Who's hateful?
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message. A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and/or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
The left, there are things on the... Now, I'm not going to say that the left wants to make everything illegal. Just sensible things. But they also want to make certain things that are illegal legal. And well, marijuana is one of those. And I not for the reasons that they tend to espouse, but I tend to agree that we should decriminalize marijuana. And it should be controlled like tobacco and alcohol. As a society, we have the duty to do that, but we do that. We even do that wrong. Actually, we make this such a taboo that we don't want to teach people, especially youngsters, about how to use this stuff responsibly. No, we just want to say, well, no, you got to be older. You got to be 18. No, you got to be 21. Now you got to be There is a momentum out there that is building to try to get the legal drinking age raised at 25. I'm not kidding you. They want to do this because they want to avoid all the frat party stuff that happens in colleges. Really? So let's just make it. Let's turn all these young people into criminals instead of teaching them properly. And making it a part of their daily life, like most other countries. I find it amazing that hey, all these other countries have health care, but we don't. Government-run health care, but we don't. Well, all these other countries have all these other things that they do that we don't, but I don't hear you talking about that. But here's something when it comes to pot. You won't believe this, and dang it, out of time for this hour. We'll start up next hour. Don't go away. You're going to want to hear this about pot.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along? Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back? Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer? With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95. I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe You often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. The fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on this program. Here it is, Monday, August number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017. Call-in number is 603-835-3226. During the break, we just confirmed that we should have candidate Joe Kincannon out of New York City joining us here tomorrow morning. Going to be discussing a lot having to do with local swamps. And, well, I mean, for big cities, let's face it, For big areas, like I've mentioned earlier, New York City, Chicago, LA, those types of places, those are local swamps that feed into the national swamp. And the only, frankly, really, in my humble opinion, the only local swamp that's bigger than New York City is Chicago. And I know everybody talks about the left coast, San Francisco and L.A., and what they do out there, but they're so far out there a lot of times. that the rest of the country just cannot. Even on the right coast, like in New York, and in the central coast, like Chicago, even they just can't adopt what they do out there. They're in a whole different world out there on the left coast. What they do in San Francisco and Seattle and L.A., the rest of the country often just says, even the left, those in power in the left on the right side of the east of the Mississippi say, y'all are nuts. But it doesn't mean that they don't take those ideas and try to tone them down for the East Coast, because they do. So in a way, what they do out there on the left coast does bleed over eventually to the rest of the country. It just gets toned down a little bit. But seriously, what comes out of New York oftentimes, it's just that's a direct pipe. I mean, it's a short, direct, big, fat swamp pipeline to Washington, D.C. from New York City. I don't think there's a bigger swamp pipeline heading into D.C. anywhere else, coming from anywhere else in the country than New York City. And we'll talk about that with Mr. Concannon tomorrow. But here's a story about marijuana and how it is not being, how we're not really teaching responsibility with this stuff. Now again, I am one of those on the right that does not believe. And by the way, for those of you who think that pot should be decriminalized, you know who's standing in the way? It isn't those of us on the right. It's your very own people on the left. Do you think Hillary Clinton would ever decide to make pot legal? No. Barack Obama had the chance. What did he do? No, he doubled down on it. No, you can try to make it legal where you are. Still going to be federal rules against it, and we're not getting rid of those. I find it amazing. It's absolutely amazing. This is why I say when these people on the left point fingers at those in the middle and on the right, it's because they're doing what they're accusing us of doing. You want to lock up people for smoking pot. It's not the right who's doing it. It's still the left. Anyway, here's a story from CNN. The number of children who were admitted to emergency rooms for unintentional marijuana intoxication increased by 133% in France over an 11-year period, according to a new study. Now, marijuana, otherwise known as marijuana, intoxication can occur when a child accidentally ingests a marijuana product or inhales marijuana smoke. Symptoms can vary based on the child's age and size, but often include sleepiness, difficulty breathing, seizures, or even coma. Now, the effects usually last 6 to 24 hours, and this is due to edibles mostly, according to this study, where, what was the big thing? Back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was pot-laced butter and pot-laced brownies, right? Brownies and cookies. Well, now they've got this whole new industry called edibles, where they've even put it in candy, and not just here, but all over the place, all over the planet, and in the Western world anyway. And kids are getting hold of this stuff, and they're suffering from marijuana intoxication. Now, I don't know about you, but I've heard people say, well, marijuana's never killed or harmed anybody. Well, I would think that causing seizures or putting kids in comas is actually harming them. Do you agree? Now, it's because we have this false notion from the left mostly that says that marijuana is this benign thing that doesn't harm anybody. It does. Now, I hate to break it to you on the left and you potheads, but marijuana is a drug. And if you have too much of any, sure, it has its good benefits, of which I think we should explore more of it. But too much of a good thing is always a bad thing. Alcohol itself is not necessarily a bad thing, especially in moderation. But you drink too much of it, it becomes a bad thing, a very bad thing. And people have died from alcohol poisoning. They've been put in comas because of alcohol poisoning. There have even, these like these these quit smoking gums, these nicotine gums. There have been kids that have chomped on this stuff and have suffered emergency conditions, medical conditions. Too much nicotine is a bad thing. Everything in moderation. And you have too much sugar, it's a bad thing. But if you have it in moderation, it won't harm you. But to try to promote this stuff as being the panacea and the cure-all for just about anything and everything out there, in that it's completely harmless, is a lie. And people are being harmed by this lie. And the reason why they're fomenting this lie is because you have some people on the left and the right, it's not just the left, they want so badly to have this particular item legalized all over the country. But the way to get it legalized isn't about lying about it. But this is what happens a lot. The left gets the idea that they should be able to do something that they want to do, that their side has helped make illegal in the first place. And all of a sudden, it's everybody else's fault that it's illegal. And they're going to lie about it and tell you how benign it is and how helpful it is. And you don't need to be educated about it. And everybody should have access to it anytime they want, 24/7, 365, without any consequences, legally speaking. But there are consequences. So look. They tried this in the Dutch tried something similar to this. Hey, we're gonna make certain kinds of hard drugs legal and have needle exchanges and all that. And all it did was increase their problems. They didn't decrease the problem, their drug problem. Why? Because they failed to honestly tackle the issue. We do the same thing here. Look, we've got this opioid epidemic all of a sudden. I mean, every time I turn on the TV, we've got it doesn't matter where I am. You have all these wonderful news outlets talking about the state of addiction in various states. I've seen them in 3 different advertisements for news, special news programs entitled "State of Addiction" here in New Hampshire too. And we got all these wonderful politicians, especially leftist politicians, running around talking about how bad the opioid epidemic is, and we got to do something to stop it because so many people are dying and ODing and all this kind of stuff. They've done all these different programs to try to help people who OD or try to prevent people who OD. And then Donald Trump says, well, hey, some states like New Hampshire, they're drug-infested dens. And then they want to go and attack the president for saying that when they're the ones who've been saying it over and over again. They just didn't use those words, but they have been saying it. If you were an outsider coming to New Hampshire for the first time, and all you saw was in the newspapers and on TV about the opioid epidemic, you would agree with the president that New Hampshire is nothing but an opioid drug-infested den. Because we're not talking about this issue, but we want government to start spending all this money to try to help people and prevent them. And what do? Well, in order to help some people with this stuff, what have we done? Some of the things that they've done is made it. They decriminalize if you were to call for help. So the police would show up and nobody would get arrested if somebody OD'd on an opioid. Well, if it's that bad, first of all, why is it illegal to begin with? I don't see anybody removing the law. They just suspended the law. That's all. Meaning at some point they're going to reinstate the law, and I think they've already done that here. So what is all this about? Well, it's about certain people needing certain. Now, this is a serious allegation here. Our government needs a certain type of blackball list. Because if they have it, then what do they demand, and what do they often get? More government intervention. But that intervention often does more harm than good. So instead of getting them early, and remember, how come we don't have things like, anybody remember Mr. Yuck? Mr. Yuck, Mr. Yuck. Now, those types of things, they were TV commercials, and parents used to put these Mr. Yuck stickers all over poisonous stuff, and it actually helped decrease accidental childhood poisonings. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Yuck disappeared. Why? Why would you get rid of something that was effective? We claim that we got to have all of this sex education because it's going to help prevent kids from getting pregnant at an early age. But the same emphasis isn't there on drug addiction education. It's not there. I don't care what people say. Well, we're spending all this money, but we're not doing it. We're not educating kids. So instead of educating kids, they turn into teenagers and young adults that run into trouble, and what's the first thing the left wants to do? Oh, we need a government program. We need to spend more government money. We need to have a government bureaucracy that's in charge of handling this. And we say, hey, well, how about we try to clamp down on the importation of all this illegal druggery? Let's close the border. Let's put up a wall. No, you can't do that. That's racist. So do they really want to help the situation? I'm here to tell you, folks, and this is the serious allegation part, they're not. They don't really want to help and solve the problem. Because if they did, it would mean that we wouldn't need governmental help. Don't doubt me.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
There is something out there that Donald Trump has done that is, it's unintentional, of course, on his part, and that is that there has been this movement of celebrities, various kinds of celebrities, and various level of celebrity on the right. For instance, you have Antonio Sabato Jr. out there in California, who's thrown his hat in the ring for Congress out there in California. You have there is from what I've seen on Twitter, a growing momentum of somehow trying to convince Scott Baio to do the same thing. Kid Rock in Michigan. This is not the first. I mean, we've had celebrities, actors, musicians that have won and run on the Republican ticket. Everybody remembers Gopher from the Fred Grandy from the Love Boat. He won a couple of terms in Congress. Fred Thompson. Now Fred Thompson did run for president, and he didn't make it, but he did play the president in a few movies and TV shows, as well as various other political figures and non-political figures throughout his extensive acting career. And we've had others. Now, granted, most of these celebrities that run tend to be leftists and liberals. We get that, but I think by the time 2018 and 2020 comes around, we're probably going to see more conservative-leaning celebrities throw their hat in the ring. Now you have to understand, these people are really they're risking ending their careers as we currently. Does anybody think that now that Antonio Sabato Jr. has really come out as being such a strong conservative that he's really going to get a whole hell of a lot of work if he doesn't win? I don't think so. I'm Kid Rock. I mean, I suppose no, they're not going to let Kid Rock get away with it either. The left is going to try to obliterate him as well, and this is what the left does. Instead of tackling their ideas, They're just going to attack the person and try to damage the person. Well, just like on the left, once the person has become the celebrity or once the person has made their fortune, you really can't harm them anymore. Sure, you may not, do you think Kid Rock and Antonio Sabato Jr. and Scott Baio, their only income comes from their entertainment? Hell no, these people are smart. They're not idiots. You can't really harm them. But this is what they think. Instead of attacking their ideas, they're just going to attack the person. So you need to look for a lot of that starting to ramp up as November 2018 gets closer. Unfortunately. But this is what the left does. They don't debate ideas. They attack personality. And that tells you all you need to know about the left, which is why I would never, ever be a Democrat.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
603-835-3226. For those who don't know, RodEccles.net is back up and running. It's really just a placeholder site right now. It's not very deep, not nowhere near as like it was before it went down, and that's my fault actually, because I've wanted to make some changes, and now I've decided to go in a totally different direction with the site. In an homage to Tim Allen and his recently unacceptably canceled program, Last Man Standing, I've asked that they develop the new site to be an homage based on Last Man Standing site. They actually have a website. I mean, it's not fully functional, but they actually have a site. And I think it'd be a good idea. Nobody else is doing it this way, by the way, I might add, as far as all the talking heads, whether they be local or national. Nobody's imitating that. And I think that I should have a site that looks like that come in September. So the site that we had already worked on, I said, screw it. Let's start over and do it like this. Let me just say that there's a person that's kind of upset with me right now. Because, well, hey, I'm paying for this stuff. I'm the paying customer. Should I not be able to get what I want? Yes. So we're gonna try to make it look more like that. I think it's gonna be cool. It would be awesome. But you can still access the page or the site and get to the show from RodEccles.net now. But again, it's just a skeleton page. It's not all that deep, and I don't think I'm not going to have them, and I'm not going to have them working on that particular version of the site as it is right now. I did like the idea of having a very nice, clean site, but we're still going to make it clean and simple and fast. But I think the design is going to be more in keeping with Last Man Standing. Because, folks, that was just... It is unbelievable how the left are now trying to shoot themselves in the foot. And they're blaming Tim Allen for this. Have you heard the latest? If Tim Allen weren't so political, we wouldn't, he'd probably still be on the air. He was a top-rated show, winning his time slot for most of the time that the program. It was 6 seasons, I think, it was on. This is ridiculous. But they despise alternate talking points so much that they are willing to. So let's help them out. I think if they really want to be, a left, they should change their acronym ABC for American Broadcasting Company, because it's not very American what they just did. But I think we should give them that and not watch their programming. I mean, it's seriously. Well, but I do notice he's going great gangbusters in syndication, though. I mean, here in my neck of the woods, there are 3 different networks that run Last Man Standing in syndication 5 days a week. And 2 of the 3 networks run at least 2 shows back to back. One of them, at least, it does 3 back to back to back. So obviously they're it's kind of like the Cosby Show was. I think you might see the Last Man Standing in more syndication as time goes on, but I watch it. I try to catch at least one episode of Last Man Standing on a daily basis because it's hilarious. It's one of the very few comedies I actually LOL. I really laugh out loud. It's kind of the comedy is clean. Sure, there's some innuendos in there, but it's basically clean, and it's classic stuff. It's kind of like watching I Love Lucy reruns. That stuff is still funny. Last Man Standing will be funny a decade from now. But I don't know where Tim Allen is going, what he's doing, or where he's going to go with the show. If he's going to try to, I think he should. Well, he's probably not going to get it on Netflix, but he might be able to get it onto things like Hulu. I think he should. He should he should say screw ABC and just show them what a mistake they made. But in any case, here's a story out of the left coast, California. Long Beach, California, as it were. You may have heard about this story some time ago, but California Muslim, a female forced to remove her hijab, has been awarded an $85,000 settlement, according to the BBC. Again, you got to go offshore to find stuff that's happening onshore. But here's the story. Christy Powell. Yes, Powell. Christy spelled with a K. Or excuse me, not Christy. Kirsty. Kirsty. Kirsty Powell. She filed a lawsuit back in 2015 against the Long Beach City Council after she was made to take off her headscarf, her hijab, following an arrest. Oh, yeah. Now, Miss Powell's repeated requests to be dealt with by a female officer were ignored, and she spent the night in custody without her headscarf, without her hijab. The department has since changed its policy on religious headwear, however. Now, female officers are now required to remove headscarves away from male officers and away from male inmates, and only when necessary for officer safety. How about just for properly identifying the suspect that you just arrested? Long Beach Assistant City Attorney Monty Machit, or is it Machit, M-A-C-H-I-T, has told the Los Angeles Times that this has been the policy change. However, Long Beach City Council agreed to settle the suit. So said the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE. Yes, that wonderful group that has been called a terrorist group. Well, they have been. CARE has been called a terrorist group before here in the USA. Now, CARE, which launched legal action for Miss Powell, said police officers forcibly removed her hijab in view of other male officers and in view of dozens of other male inmates. She later described the experience as deeply traumatizing. Now, here's the rest of the story that you need to know about. Local news ABC 7, surprise, surprise there, but local news ABC 7 reported she had 3 outstanding warrants against her, which have since been cleared. But at the time of her arrest, she had 3 outstanding warrants. Now, they won't say what those 3 outstanding warrants were. You'd have to go and try to dig into arrest records in order to find that information out, because they don't want you to know. But she had 3 outstanding warrants. And with that, her arrest was also not very, shall we say, pleasant. In other words, resisting arrest. So the police officers removed her. Well, they had to make sure they had the right person, too. And oftentimes, hijabs, they cover identifying features of a person. And the cops like to know who they're dealing with. Especially if they're going to place you under arrest, they want to make sure they have the right person before they take you in, haul you in. So now because of this, because of CARE, and because of the leftists out there on the left coast who've just given in to this kind of garbage. If it's coming down to searching a person, okay, I understand that females want a female officer. I have no problem with that. But they're going to limit the ability of these officers to identify somebody. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But so that's the story out of California with that one. Now this is stemming all the way back from 2015, by the way. And this was who was president then? Yeah, Obama. Not Trump. Now I wonder if they're going to blame Trump for this. It's Trump's fault that in Long Beach, California. I don't think you could ever make the case that this is Trump's fault. They'll try though. They'll try. Say it was due to racist police officers. In any case. Another report that Russian hack of the DNC probably wasn't a hack. This is from Hot Air. Remember when the Russians hacked the DNC email and records system last year? Yeah, well, cyber experts have been digging through all of the available material for over a year now, trying to pin down exactly what happened, but the answers to date have been less than satisfying. Of course, it isn't the first time, but now another report has come out saying that the standard explanation we've been given, Russia, doesn't appear to hold water. The interesting aspect here is that this one isn't coming from some right-wing source. It isn't coming from somebody on the right with an axe to grind against Hillary. No, but rather from the nation. A source which is generally only a couple of steps removed from being a DNC public relations firm. Yes, the nation is a liberal ragmag, if you will. versus a conservative ragmag, which some people call like the Washington Times and WND.com. But this is from a liberal ragmag. And they're saying that, well, it looks like from everything that we've gotten so far from all these investigations is that the Ruskies had nothing to do with it. This whole Russian collusion thing, we know where it started. We know how it came about. And we know that Mueller is now off onto other things. He's not really investigating Russian collusion anymore because there's no there. But now Mueller wants to move on to interviewing before a grand jury certain people, former and current members of the Trump administration, like Reince Priebus. I really? For what? There's no collusion. There's no Russian-Trump collusion there. They've been at this for over 18 months. Well, we just have to see where the investigation leads. The investigation is leading us to all kinds of things that have nothing to do with Russian collusion. And what you're going to end up with is just like back in the day when Scooter Libby was convicted of lying to the special prosecutor back then. When you look at the whole thing, he didn't really lie about it. His testimony over numerous different testimony times just varied due to the fact that the human memory often recalls details that they didn't recall before, or they change the way they remember things. Simply, that's just the way the mind works. And of course, if it doesn't match up 100% from day 1 to day 50, well, they're going to say, well, geez, you committed perjury. So there was no there for the original crime. They just got somebody caught up in a process crime because their memory isn't 100% foolproof. And nobody's is, by the way. Just saying. So this is what they're after this time around with some Trump people. Same damn thing. Don't doubt me on this either.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayride.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, But now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
There is a disturbing trend on the way out there. Well, there's two disturbing. Well, it's not. One is disturbing, and one is not so disturbing. This disturbing trend has to do with your iPhone and the new iPhones. There's a new iPhone craze on the subway in New York City. New York women have discovered that creepy men are using the iPhone AirDrop app, which is not available on Microsoft or Google Droid phones, just iPhone, to send them photos of their privates while they're on the same train. Yes, Britta Carlson, 28, was riding the Uptown 6 train to a concert on July 27th when a mysterious message popped up on her smartphone. iPhone 1 would like to share a note with you, read the message. She hit accept and was horrified by what she saw. She said it was just a huge close-up of a picture of a disgusting penis. The message was titled Straw and was sent by an anonymous stranger on the phone. Evidently, you have to be within Bluetooth earshot of your phone. So she tried to pan the train to see who could have possibly has sent her this so-called dick pic using this iPhone app. You can't make this stuff up, folks. So it's what's it called? AirDrop. I don't own an iPhone, so of course I never heard of this. But that is a disturbing trend, and I guess a lot of women are starting to say yes, they've been getting unsolicited dick pics of fellow male train passengers in New York and other places, I guess, too. Another reason not to go with an iPhone, I guess. I don't know. But if you're in New York, if you have that app AirDrop, just be prepared for certain pictures that come across from those riding the train with you, I guess. And finally today, there is a shortage, but it's a good but bad but good shortage. Evidently, school bus companies in the United States are having difficulty filling out their school bus driver rosters. Every company that responded to a school bus fleet magazine survey of the top 50 school bus contractors said they had a shortage of some kind. 54% face a moderate shortage, while 22% said that there was a severe shortage, and 19% they said they have a mild shortage, and 5% said their companies were desperate to find school bus drivers. Now, why is this happening? Why do people don't want to drive your little kiddies? Well, no, the problem is, and it's not a problem, but the problem is, it seems, is that because being a school bus driver isn't a highly paid occupation. And since Trump has been in office and the number of jobs has increased, good paying jobs, a lot of these people who would otherwise be taking on school bus driver duties have other better paying jobs. So they're not going back to driving the school bus. So I guess we should it be called the school bus economy? If we have a shortage of school bus drivers, it must mean that people are finding good paying real jobs out there and don't need these school bus jobs anymore. But evidently that's the story. Just saying. So that's a good thing, right? of course, somebody's going to claim that it's a bad thing. You just wait and see. In any case, we got Joe Kincannon here with us, scheduled to be here with us tomorrow morning, so you're not going to want to miss that out in New York City, plus everything else that we usually cover. So until then, have a wonderful Monday afternoon, folks. We'll see you again right here. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.